morning, good afternoon, and good evening, viewers. Welcome once more to Requiem for London. Our scene is set this night as a undisclosed, I'd say van truck, sits outside or near the Shunt Club. There is an individual inside. He sits almost alone, although he is not alone. Dead eyes stare up, glazed over, with an expression of fear, pain, agony. It's hard to tell. The smell from all of the drugs that are stored with this body, they are very potent. And with your acute sense of smell, it's hard for you to concentrate. But you still try, you still think, you still ponder. Even though most of the bodies had been moved, the truck is still slick with gore from nights past. It is now hardened to a more blackened stain all along the walls and the floor of the truck. I suppose the bed of the truck. And as Butcher McGee sits there, waiting, what thoughts go through his mind?
He sits there in the back of the van, truck, whatever vehicle. He sits in a shadowy corner, observing the cargo, the main important part of the mission. And he has the smell, he recognizes instantly the smell of the individual. And again, it strikes these memories like fireworks in his mind of events that he can't focus on, events that he can't quite understand, and it frustrates him. He gets more angered by it. And as soon as he pushes those aside, he recalls on the events that have just recently happened, the unleashing of his beast, the satisfying thrill of it, the lust, the blood, the gore, the sensation of satisfying your darker aspect, and how the beast has gone quiet now. It's settled, it's comfortable, but McGee is justifying the cost of that, and the worry that goes through his mind of, shall I subject my descendants to this? Shall I subject my true family, my true blood relatives to this beast? And these are the thoughts that go through his mind while transporting this cargo.
It's around that time that, from where the truck is parked, maybe a little farther ways from the Shunt Club, that two other cars pull up by the club. There are 4 individuals, 2 per car, one of which audience you are familiar with by now, as Eddie and his crew arrive. They received, or should I say Eddie received, instructions from one Diedrich Graves that 2 individuals, both dead, one still moving, and, in his own words, a shit ton of cocaine would need to be transported from point A to point B. No questions asked. You need to find a person named McGee. He's the one overseeing the supplies. He's one of the two dead bodies. Most likely the one that is moving.
Eddie stares at the crew, the three men he brought with. Alright. Connor, Tim, you take point in the car. Follow us. First sign of trouble, well, make sure to alert us. And we have to make sure that our cargo gets to where we need to go. No questions asked. And do your job well, there's a bonus. Do your job shit, well, you might be seen to gutter. Yeah? Alright. Tony, you're with me. You're driving. Get in the fucking seat. You need to talk to someone. And as Tony makes his way to the driver's seat, hopefully there's a key in the ignition. Otherwise he's going to be having, or he'll have to hotwire this car or truck. Eddie walks to the back.
McGee's going to hear this knocking. I'm assuming McGee's the only one in the back.
That is well besides the staked individual, but yes,
Yeah.
the only one in the back.
And the shitload of cocaine.
Yes.
So Eddie, you'll just hear a growl, and you'll sense a predatory aspect, aura, and it's quite firm. It's quite strong, stronger than what you've been used to in the recent nights. And you'll just hear a voice going, "Come on in."
He sort of looks up at the balloon there.
I think as you come in, you'll just literally see a coffin with a staked individual in it, and just shitloads of cocaine surrounding this individual. And you'll see McGee sat right at the back, and again, just like the image, he is sat there, eyes forward, leaning, his hands are kind of crossed, and he has a kind of worried stance about him. Not panicky, just a kind of on edge kind of stance about him.
Eddie doesn't look like in the picture because he has obfuscate on. However, McGee, if he is paying any attention, and they're pretty much the only, just him, Eddie, and the staked individual, he'll figure out soon enough that this other individual is also not breathing and doesn't have a heartbeat. And he just gets in the back, closes the door. He doesn't make eye contact with McGee. Right. I'm told to come here and help you with the operation. What's yours, boss?
McGee's going to close his eyes, and he's going to give a big sort of breath in. It's quite unnatural. It's an artificial kind of sort of maneuver, and he's going to try and gauge how you smell. And your ability does not obscure how you smell, unfortunately. So how does Eddie smell? What is his strongest scent?
His strongest scent is most likely not sewage, but dirt and grime. The slight hint of oil, maybe, or something else, mechanic.
So an industrial scent, a
In a
or
way, industrial, yeah. Um,
or perhaps more of a.
can you make me a roll? Because if you get a success, I'll gladly give you more
I will do a
information.
roll. He has a lot of dice in this, so
That's great. The more you
so
get, the better.
he's got 4. He pluses 2. He pluses 2 for investigate, and he pluses another dice because it's a smell. So it's a lot of dice. So let's see. Oh wow,
My
yeah.
goodness.
He is
That's
so good
already
at
an exceptional
smell.
success.
Exceptional.
He is so
Um,
good at smell that I will roll. Whatever. No, it doesn't matter. Anyway, it's an
five
actually.
still.
Ooh, 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 ooh.
Mhm.
Rule wise, because he has the delicatessen merit, he becomes obsessed by the smell of an exceptional success. So whatever you smell of Eddie, he becomes obsessed by. I will leave you.
Then, yeah, because what I had in mind is there's a hint of electricity coursing through his smell, as though he's been living near a generator or somewhere with high amounts of electricity soaring through. You could say that the smell is electric.
So almost like an ozone sort of smell.
Yeah, this is his flaw. It's a drawback to one of his merits. So he is. So as you come in and you say your statement about how I was having, McGee just and so he relaxes. You see him thinking, yeah, street copper, but then suddenly his mood changes. He's and you see him get slightly excited. You see him getting slightly, to a case in point, aroused. I guess is the facial expression, and it's that sense of electricity. It's that sense of energy. It's that sense of underground energy, something like that. And he's just like, oh, oh, you are quite unique, aren't you? You smell of the street, but you have a tint of electricity about you. Sorry, I am McGee. What is your name, my friend?
They call me Eddie, sir.
McGee is looking at you in a really weird way. He's looking at you in a really like, oh, it's like, oh, Eddie. Hmm. You're new, aren't you? I can tell. I can sniff it on you, but you're
Very
different.
so.
You're different. I don't know why, but you're different. That is interesting.
I get shit done, sir.
Good. That's what I like to hear. Tired of fucking posers. Good to meet a kindred that can do the shit, that can actually fucking accomplish something. Do you know Adriana by any chance?
Name does ring a bell.
Then you're well connected. I also appreciate that. Well, look, forget her, forget anything else. This didn't happen. What you see right now before you never happened. You understand? Uh, Kindred, I guess. It's hard to tell. Your face is a bit vague.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Mr. McGee. All I've been told is to get a car to its destination.
Good. By the way, you don't even need to roll because of your supernatural senses. McGee smells of blood. He smells of blood, gore. It seems to have been wiped from his face, from his clothes, but you get that scent. You know that there is blood and vitae scattered amongst him. You know he's just been in a fight, pretty much.
Well, it's a little more than that at this point. I'd say
Yeah.
it's almost like he's been marinated in blood for a little
It,
It might
it,
be particularly unique in that Eddie has not smelled so much blood on a single individual before in his own life.
Probably instinctively, because it is blood. Eddie will just lick his lips. Right, right. So, what do you need from me, boss?
well, we need to get from A to B quietly as fucking possible. I'm sure an individual that is capable of that with your crew. Wait, are you members of the Carthian? He'll say that in kind of a stupid way, as if like asking.
I've been sent here, Mr. McGee, to help you out by my boss.
He McGee seems incredibly threatening, but rather stupid and ignorant. He's just like, all right, if they've sent you, they've sent you. I'm not gonna argue with that. We need to get to. He'll give you an address. Out of character, I'm assuming this is a safe place for the Carthian movement. Ben.
I'd say yes, this would be one of the safe places that the company
Would it?
specifically
It would be the
would be one
Shunt
of
Club.
the. No, they're at the Shunt Club right now. This is
Oh,
Shunt would
okay.
be the first place they'd look. This is another one of Ernest's safe houses for
Uh,
what would be the
Wine
gathering
bar.
party. Yep,
Gordon's Wine
Gordon's
Bar.
Wine Bar then. Perfect. Oh, that works on so many levels. Yes.
Yeah. Don't worry. That has storage areas and yeah, it's on the embankment. Perfect. Anyway, yeah, McGee will just go. Well, we need to get to Gordon's Wine Bar along the embankment. It's about a
Right.
mile. We need to drive there. London, of course, is quiet at night, but we need to make sure there's no fucking interruptions. I'm sure you and your crew can accomplish that. I don't want to state if things get wrong, if things get, well, the tea bag's brewed wrongly, things are going to go wrong.
They've been told. And if they fuck up, well, less people to pay.
Good. That's what I like to hear. And McGee's going to say this in quite a serious, sophisticated tone, but he will look to the corpse laid in front of you, and he will look to it in a really sad way, in a real, as if you're going to a funeral, as if you're going to a mourning. It's that kind of sense of someone's just been lost, something has been lost to him, and he's looking on this corpse.
When it doesn't seem like McGee is saying anything else, Eddie just looks at
Will
him for a moment. Oh,
Will
sorry.
Eddie examine the corpse himself?
No, nope.
Interesting.
He's been taught to, if you're doing a job, keep your nose clean. In
Right, quick
in more
question
ways
then,
than one.
storyteller
No
ways.
using of
The way
drugs.
the
And
way
yeah.
the corpse is positioned, can the corpse see Eddie though?
I'm going to say the corpse sees everything. That's fine.
Okay then. I'll take a note of that for
Its
later.
its its head is upright. It's got that I've been staked look about it, but it sees everything.
All right, in
Well,
that
I mean,
case.
if his face is upright, Eddie would
It,
have seen
it,
the face, but that's
yeah,
not really.
its head is upright. You see its face. Its face sees you. It's all there. It's everyone
Oh,
sees
well,
everyone.
in that case, that's an entirely different story. Eddie, you recognize this individual that is staked quite iconically in the vampiric fashion.
So what?
This was one of the runners that you would hire out on occasion to the family.
Uh-huh. Gonna roll something real quick. Presence and subterfuge.
I'm
Oh
going to
no,
say
yeah.
this will be against McGee's wits and subterfuge, because if he detects that you know something or see something, so
Yeah.
'cause he might spot.
2 successes on my end.
Oh, two, and then no, the defender wins, so you win this round.
Yeah. Eddie looks at the individual, raises an eyebrow, shakes his head. Right, will that be all, Mr. McGee? Any requests?
Again, McGee's looking at this individual in a very somber way, in a very mournful way, and he's like, I'm thinking he won't even look at you, and he'll just go, yeah, 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 yeah. That's just get us to the location properly. You'll be rewarded.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of sighs. He kind of lets out a big sigh while looking at this individual.
And he just gives it a nod as he backs out of the car, or out the back, closes it. What kind of locking mechanism do we have in the back? Is it just simple lock, or is it like one of those levers?
Does it have one of those levers? I'm not quite
I'm
sure.
going to say they would have something a bit better. It's not basic lock mechanism security. It's a kind of, there'll be a key. There'll be something you need to unlock it with. It's more secure than your average lock system.
Right. Alright, so he'll just make sure to lock the back, you know, just to make sure that the cargo doesn't fall out suddenly. Uh, Goes to the passenger side.
I'm going to assume this is one of those like lorries or vans or trucks where there is probably a shut thing that you can open
Yeah,
and
I'd
talk to
imagine
the
there's.
passengers. So we'll leave that in a minute. Yeah, okay, carry on.
Right. Tony. Sorry, I totally forgot which place. The wine bar?
Yeah, Gordon's wine
Some.
bar.
Yeah. Gordon's wine bar. Take your time. Keep your eyes peeled. You know the drill.
And with that, the car will start. Is Eddie going to be sitting up front with his crew, or is he going to be staying in the back?
Oh no, he's sitting in the passenger seat in the front.
I think
Tony driving. He's beside him, and the other two are in a car following.
Right then, McGee, you will feel the car begin to start up and then begin to slowly pull away. And I think that's pretty much unless Eddie wants to have any conversation with his crew. If not, then what does McGee do?
McGee, I would say after about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, it's going to take you about an hour to get to the location. After about 10 to 20 minutes, the slide will suddenly open, and he'll just go. A voice will come out back, and you'll see a pair of eyes, and it's the eyes of McGee, very bold, very strong eyes, very blunt eyes looking at you. And a simple voice just comes across going, "So Eddie, how long have you been a part of the family?"
Well, you could say pretty much all my life. Sir, eyes on the fucking road, Tony. Sorry.
He'll gauge your accent, and he's going to do a streetwise and wits to determine where you were brought up, because he is a part of London streets. 4 plus 6. No, he doesn't determine. He's going to say you're part of You brought up in Smithfield Market. I can hear a bit of an accent on you.
He's just gonna nod. That's all he does.
That's fair enough. I think he becomes a bit more forward on that, and he's like, "You sound like a decent fella. You sound like a reasonable man. Though I've not heard you're part of the Carthian movement. Makes me a bit suspicious." And he'll kind of look to the driver, and I'm assuming the driver is just like, "Yeah, I'm just ignoring everything that's being said."
Yep, he knows the drill.
He knows the drill. Like, yeah, just pretend I didn't hear anything. And he wouldn't say Carthian movement. He'll just say a part of the movement.
It's the first time I've worked with the movement, so.
Oh, look, wherever the fuck you're with, they're arseholes. They're in it for themselves. They're fucking fascists. That's it. End of.
Usually the case with any organisation.
Yeah, but at least with us lot, we have a say. Everyone has a fucking say in how it's run. You can stick to whatever groups for whatever you fucking want. Blood, greed, power. Pfft. But we're the fucking law. If you seriously want to be something, be a part of something, give me a fucking word, yeah? I'll make something of you, boy. I'll make you a part of something.
Appreciate it. Let's just first do this job. I don't want to have you. I don't want you to have too high hopes for me, sir.
You seem clever enough. You seem capable enough. You're not dead yet. That's enough to say a lot in my circles. But they're going to use you, boy. Don't give them credit. Sooner or later, they're going to send you on your little tasks, your little quests to achieve whatever fucking ends they want. And you're the one that's going to pay. Fucking Nazi fascists.
That's always the case, isn't it? Us low lives. Until we get into a more exact type of situation, I suppose. You're the one doing the running, and they're the ones doing the ordering. We all got to work our way up.
That's what I like about you, boy. You know the stakes. You know what it takes. You scream, Carthian. Stop pretending. The quicker you join us, the easier it will be, and the more power you get, and the more money and blood. Or choose otherwise. It's up to you, mate. I'm not gonna fucking force you. I'm not a fucking Invictus cunt. I'm up front like that. I'm not as polite and dandy as they are.
Each family has their own merit, I suppose.
We fight for each other. That's our rule. You side for the Invictus. You side for the powerful party. You side for the fucking Dracu cunts. You side for the most powerful cunt. Sanctum is a religious arseholes who believe that they're cursed. You side with the crone, then fucking just give in to the beast now. Us lot, at least we have a fucking say in what we are. That's all I'm going to say to you, mate. Decide what you will. Let the beast out, as a Gangle would say.
You do make a lot of sense there. Although I would imagine that letting your beast out constantly You know, being all rowdy and shit will not work on in the long run. Not always. Sometimes you need a bit more composure, perhaps. Be a bit more. Sometimes you
McGee,
need to do talking.
as you say this, McGee kind of he instantly he comes across quite confident. He comes across quite bold. But as soon as you say the words like "let the beast out" and then such and such, he suddenly withdraws back and he suddenly kind of as if trying to forget a distant memory, and he's like, "Let me participate a fucking lesson upon you. The beast will
Always.
come out no matter what. But you should direct it. You should control it. Otherwise, you're just a fucking another victim. And you don't come across as a victim, mate. You come across as a fucking solid fella. That's why you should join us. Anyway, I've got a shitload of cocaine to deal with, and this steak's fuck. We'll call this an evening. If you feel otherwise, feel free to contact me, mate." And he'll throw a card on the floor, and it's like just a number on a card. He'll just throw it on the floor in front of you, and then turn his back to you as if like, yeah, fuck it. If you want to call me, call me. If not, bollocks to you.
Eddie just nods a couple of times. As soon as you've backed away from the ledge, he just gives Tony a glare and just goes,
The driver doesn't say anything. He doesn't look away from the road, but you do see him just give you a quick look out of the corner of his eyes, like, wow.
I'm gonna say
pretty much Eddie's going to do the same, like,
everything McGee has just said. There's a hint of doubt to it. There's a hint of hypocrisy. There's a hint of something wrong. It seems like he's said this line a few times, but there's a sense that something's wrong. Something is unhinged him tonight, and something is not quite right.
you know what, I'm just going to roll a wit and everything on that.
Yeah, do that.
Specialty emotions, because this does
Yeah,
sound like it's more an emotional thing.
it sounds like this is a political line, but there's something more to it. There's something. It's something more
Wow.
effective. Oh fucking hell! Yeah.
Let's,
Oh my
let's see if I
goodness.
get an exceptional. No,
Oh,
just
shit.
4.
You
So
roll
close.
you get you definitely get the sense that there seems like a political line. There seems like a typical phrase. Or you've heard this kind of bullshit story in college or high school, whatever. But there's a hint of doubt to it. There's a hint of
It's
yeah,
the
doubt
lines
is the best.
that he kept saying to people. You know, just join us. Don't resist. Just work with us, and it will all be better. And even when he knows what's happening or what's going to happen to someone, that's always the line he had to say. So yeah,
There's a
he
hint that
knows.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's a hint that this is a phrase he said many a time, but suddenly he realizes perhaps there's more to it, and he kind of turns his back and he's looking at this coffin at the moment of this staked individual who's witnessed the whole event.
If possible, Eddie would just close the slide from his end, so Tony doesn't get any ideas and look in the back. And yeah, he just keeps his eyes peeled on the road now, hoping there's no one there.
And to The swiftness of the crew. There are no obstacles along the way to Gordon's wine bar. As it continues along, McGee is now left alone with this staked individual who reminds him of a past he can't quite remember, a moment in time that has become lost somewhere along the way. And as he looks at this individual, does he do anything more?
Yes, he's going to look at this individual. And it's not a matter of just looking at him. He smells him, he gets his scent. He's already tasted his blood, he's already gauged that. And he's like, there's a familiarity to it. There's a sense of something in his mind that's been blocked, something he can't recall. And this individual reminds him of him so much to the point that he's nearly going crazy. He's nearly going insane because of it. It's just this annoying tick in his mind of there's something there. There's something that he doesn't know. And he hears gun shells. He hears the sound of war. He hears the sounds of cries for pain. And the sound of a gentle voice telling him to forget. And that is the last thing he remembers and the last voice he kind of hears. And he's still looking at this individual, and it still keeps triggering this repeated feeling, this repeated memory. And it's gotten to the point where he's staring at the individual and he looks like he's going to eat him or kill him. It's that really aggressive kind of look.
As the car goes along, the second, or should I say third dead man in the car now. He's able to see all in his prison, in his wretched state. He recognized a face amongst the several that he's seen over the past months, amongst the blur and the pain, amongst the hunger. Actually, scratch that, forgot about obfuscate. So has no familiar faces. He has no frame of reference that connects him back to who he was. There is only demons that walk like men. And here he is, unable to breathe, unable to move, unable to truly die, it seems. Maybe that is what he wishes for now. For it to just stop. No more pain, no more hunger, no more anything. But even then, something rears deep inside of him. Still formless, still primordial. And his fear is still greater, although there's not much he can do about it. For he cannot move, and all he can do is sit there in anguish and torment, crying out with a mouth that will not speak, pleading, looking through eyes that remain locked in place. He is in hell. There can be no other explanation than that. The lorry will reach Gordon's wine bar. There are people waiting there who work. One in particular is waiting for the crew when they arrive. As Eddie gets out, he will see the man in the picture waiting for him. He would have been told about this individual by Graves. This is where he needs to go.
Slowly but steadily, Eddie approaches the gentleman. Sir, got the cargo?
He will look to his left, he'll look to his right briefly to see if anyone else is watching, and he'll give you a very long stare. And of course, you are come across as average build, average height, average looks, and he just looks upon you and goes, very good, old boy. You have done well. You are one of Graves' crew, I believe.
Eddie just gives a polite nod.
That's enough for me. I thank you for this favour. I'm sure Graves will reward you for such services. You didn't peek on the cargo, did you?
If I looked at the cargo, sir, I conversed with Mr. McGee regarding his wishes. That's about it, sir.
You are. He's just to make a totally random roll on this because he's heard of an individual visiting his clubs and he matches your hooded description. Okay, one success. So he's going to go, you are, from the way you dress, the hood, the average height, the average looks, you're one Eddie. Am I incorrect?
Could very well be, sir.
Good. You visited the clubs, you visited the establishments. I hope you enjoyed them. I am, as you will aware of, a member of the Carthian movement. We welcome all new members. I hope you keep that in mind. We're always looking out for capable individuals. Independent individuals, such as yourself.
Of course, sir.
If you need any assistance, vitae, people, contacts, please feel free to speak to me via Graves. I'm willing to help those in need, especially the younger, newer kindred to our world. I know how frightening and somewhat scary the kindred world is to the mortal kind as yourself.
Do you need any assistance with unloading the cargo, sir? Or shall I tell my men to piss off?
No, old boy. Please, I'm not rude as others amongst our ranks. No. I am rather weak. Please assist, help unlift the cargo in the. He will gesture to like a cellar lift entrance. It's like on the street, but it opens up to a cellar door where there's a lift that lifts down into the cellar of the bar. It's a very old London kind of like mechanism. He'll gesture to it and it'll open up in front of you and he'll be like, oh yeah, just please deliver the cargo thusly. And I'm going to say McGee will get out the back of the van or the lorry or the truck and he'll look to John, the figure in front of you, and there's a long pause. Give me empathy and wits, I think. And yes, emotions will apply.
No.
No, okay. You get a sense that something is about, but you can't determine what. something between John and McGee, but you can't gauge what it is or the meaning behind their glares, behind their stares. And McGee's going to move with the undead cargo and proceed to the underground area. And while this is all happening, he's got a pleasant smile. He's always smiling in front of you. He's always small talking. Like, how is the day? How are things? Blah, blah, blah. He's so polite, and I'm going to say that are impressed. You're actually quite seduced by his presence. He's such a lovable fella.
As John told him and his crew to get his stuff, he would have just looked at the crew. Right, tosses, time to fucking make your money. Get moving. And he's just gonna stay there with John. They can do the heavy lifting as far as he's concerned.
Yeah, John will keep asking you polite questions, random, comment, small talk. Eventually, he'll get to the point where he says, "So you know Graves? Intriguing." He's not the friendly sort. He takes a long time for Kindred to warm up to him.
I wouldn't say so, sir. I would say he's a proper gentleman.
He smirks at what you just said there about proper gentleman. He smirks and just goes, yes, he is. Yes, he is charming. Gentleman is a strong word, but very capable individual.
Very knowledgeable, yeah.
We have been friends for a long time. You do well to sit with in his company. He will protect you as long as you prove yourself worthy of his attention. If he doesn't, come to me. I'm sure we can work out arrangements for you. Like I said, we in the Carthian appreciate capable kindreds such as yourself.
Much appreciated, sir.
Ben, would he realise via his smell the vitae he's just drunk recently?
For John against Eddie?
Yeah, the idea of the vitae he's indulged himself on recently, and
that actually is a very good point. He can probably, I'd say he can, but it would be a minus to it. So he would make composure -3, since it's probably been like at least an evening since he was at Shunt and fed.
Would this include blood potency to the extent of supernatural senses?
That is tricky. Again, like supernatural senses, like blood potency only like increases the range.
Yeah, so that's fair enough. Okay. Yeah, I'll just roll the wits and composure. So he has got quite a lot of dice. Yeah, he can
minus the 3.
Oh no, good point. So we 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. Minusing 3, so it's 5, I think. It's still 1.
Yeah, it's still 1.
So he can. I'm going to say that he kind of. He gives a whiff. He gives a smell, and then looks at you and goes, "Yes, yes. There are many advantages to our movement. Vitae being very, very important. I'm sure you'll realise that soon."
Not knowing why he said that, he just looks and nods. That's true. That's true. Sometimes hard to find out. Sure.
He looks at you with a sense of somewhat pity. I guess because he's automatically assuming you're McGee or Nosferatu. Either way, he views both groups in a sense of pity, and he's just sort of, well, look, old boy, we all hide. We all need to hide. I understand. There are many occasions I wish I can hide myself, to be quite blunt, but we need to decide our actions. There's a point when, even when it comes to our sires, those that bring us into this world, where we must choose what needs to be done, what we believe is right. I hope you can make that choice before the Invictus delude you into thinking otherwise.
Those on top usually want to delude. They wish to have the lower as meek little lambs, like my own man. And it's perhaps in the way that he says it. He's confident, but you might have noticed that this whole exchange, he's not in the most not necessarily confident, but doesn't feel quite at ease. He clearly realizes that he's with a superior. And,
I'm just going to roll. I'm going to roll presence and empathy. This is his speciality as well, so it's going to be 8 dice, just to determine how your character is. Oh wow, yeah, he's got a few there. So 1, roll an extra dice, blah blah blah. No, that's a 6. He's got 2 successes. So how does your character? How is he at the moment?
He is slightly not at ease. He is. You kind of have the idea that he's just wanting this particular night to be over. He's doing his job. And that's it, really, for him. You might even get the idea that he's being polite by listening and talking to you, but you also don't really get the idea that everything is registering. I mean, he's listening to you, but how much truth your words have, that's
He's. I'm gonna roll. Actually, for him, I'm gonna roll persuasion, subterfuge. No, persuasion and presence. I'm gonna roll because, and against his speciality, it's just how well he comes across. It's only the 1. He's still got the success, so it's only 1. He will speak to you, and he speaks to you in a very honest voice. He speaks to you in a very pleasant voice, and he comes across very charming, very honest. And he sees your distress. He sees you just like going through the motions, going through the night, another night, another event to make money, perhaps. That's the only aspect, the only goal of this evening. And he looks to you and he places a hand on your shoulder, your very average shoulder, and he just looks to you and goes, "Look, old boy, I know how this game can be quite tiresome, and I appreciate your efforts. But when you wish to fight for a purpose, fight for a cause, please seek me out. We protect our own. We're not individuals in this. We are community. We are a people. I will leave you to make your own decisions. Don't think me advertising a movement. Only speak to me when you wish, when you have time. But I thank you for your efforts." give my regards to Graves, and well, if you wish to proceed to his bookworming, then may God bless you.
Probably this is the first time that Eddie looks directly at John, looks him in the eyes actually. So, I've been part of a family pretty much my whole life. And now that I've gotten a second chance, I want to be my own man. Not have to be part of any family, but just do my own thing. And I do appreciate your offer of family, of help. But in the end, I think the only person who can help me is me. And there might be individuals who can help me out in one way or the other. And I wish to keep contacts and allies everywhere. I hope to count you on someone that I can rely on, perhaps, or that you can rely on me to get jobs done. Perhaps in the future I will listen to your words and heed them and join the cause that you speak of. But for now, I need to make my own road, however tiresome it might be.
Ah, very well, old boy. I will not. I will not stop you. You're a free individual. It's a right you have earned. It's a right you're entitled to. And God bless you on that road. But be wary. Your decisions aren't just yours to make. The blood does call. I hope you make good decisions. Righteous decisions. Decisions that affect the whole, not just the individual. Seek me out whenever you wish to accept this fact. Otherwise, I accept you as a brother.
And they'll just extend the hand for John to take.
Yeah, John will, again, very charismatically, very charming, just, yeah, very firmly take your hand and shake it. Very bold way. And he nods in a very affirmative, in a very kind of confident manner.
And Eddie copies mostly, or pretty much does the same as John. Gives him a slight smile. I'm sure I'll be seeing more of you, or at least hearing more of you. And I'm happy that the cargo came through without any hiccups.
John looks slightly guilty for a second. He's like, yes, I do appreciate the cargo. I do appreciate your works, but unfortunately, there are privileges to our movement, and a law has been decreed recently. I expect the next night will be unpleasant for you, and for that I do apologize. It's a matter of law beyond my control. I would
Unpleasant for me, sir.
I would strongly advise you to seek vitae outside of the clubs in London. Consider this a favour on behalf of the Carthian movement. And I do apologise for any discomfort, but the law is law. And the Carthians stand together, united.
I look forward to the next few nights then. Should be interesting.
At this point, yeah, John will just nod and turn and walk to the Golden's wine bar. And it seems as if he's had a bit of a serious conversation with McGee. And it seems like his composure suddenly dropped and he's become a lot more serious. And McGee and him have this. Even though McGee's a lot taller, a lot stronger, he's 6 foot something, and John is a lot shorter, he's 5 foot something. McGee is very childlike in front of John. He's very. You don't need to roll empathy. He seems to be very dominated by John. As the elevator or lift lowers, as the cargo, the cocaine, the package lowers into Gordon's wine bar.
As the package lowers, and by the package we mean the individual, once more surrounded by darknesses, I'm assuming the lid to the coffin has been put back on. He silently cries out to the darkness for anyone to save him. Anyone. As it lowers deeper and deeper below the bar. And as Eddie and his crew drive off into the night, this is where we take it to Eddie.
As soon as Eddie has fully paid the crew in whatever they needed, and he is all by himself, waiting on the street corner, he lets out a very deep sigh. And a weight falls off his shoulders, and he was not in the best mood. Not the best mood. Not in the best state. He does not like to be surrounded by these superior beings. He knows he has to be a submissive one, but a dominant. With the hairs on the back of his neck, they stand. It's not that this person was, this John was dangerous in his stance, but his words seem to have weight. And this McGee, Jack, he wonders if he's bit off more than he can chew. There's a slight tremble in his hand. He steadies it. Stay on course. Eventually you'll rise higher. And you won't be just a slave. Puts his hood back up and disappears into the night, taking the warning to heart to lay a bit more low, for there's something happening, something dreadful.
And that is where our scene will end. Thank you all for watching. You scoundrel, and have a wonderful night.